So today I'm filming from my phone, so you'll have to bear with me. But I'm building out forms where I can fill out some of the products and services on my webpage from a table, including the images. And I wanted to record an interesting workaround that I had to do for the images because within LibreOffice Base, you can say I have a SQL table, and this SQL table has a column for an image, right? Getting an image column from SQL onto your website is apparently a bit of a pain in the ass, and most people will say, oh, well, why don't you go ahead and create a separate web page that then goes and creates a temp file and shows the image in an iframe or something like that to where you can just refer to that separate web page here, or some other weird nonsense like that. And I found a much easier way, and so we're going to take a look at that today. Basically, actually I didn't need to open this. Basically, if we open up our database, I can close this form here. On my table here for site services, when it opens up, I have added, there's an image column, and then there's a web path column. And I added this web path column to basically be, I've designated a folder, a lot like a temp folder, and when we retrieve all of this data for this image, if web path is empty, when I insert the image, it will go and save it to the disk before trying to load that image here. And basically it converts this stream of bytes into a file and then saves it on the disk with that rec ID value, and then it stores the web path here. And on a code end, if I open this up within Visual Studio, let's see where it would be. On the code end, we have, so this basically says go get the image, which is a series of bytes, and the web path, where this rec ID is this, and if web path is equal to nothing, then create a memory stream with those bytes, save it to a certain file path in this designated folder with that rec ID, save it to our test site folder as well because I'm using our test site, and then go ahead and insert the new file path minus the folder structure here, so that when the web server calls it, it goes and grabs that file path from this folder, or from, I guess, this folder structure, whatever you want to call it. And then that's it. Otherwise it just returns the value of web path as that image tag, and then it just magically works. Like, that's all it took. And then now I have a form where I can fill out, hey, I want to add a new service, and all I have to do is right click this image tag and say insert an image from my computer and then I can pick out an image. It gets uploaded. Here, we'll try it out with a new one just so you know I'm not lying. So we'll say test. Those aren't that important. Test. Oh, well, I guess I don't want them to return nulls. I didn't build this to be null friendly. So we'll say yellow background color on something. And then image, we want a certain image, right? We'll do this one again. Now when I save this into my database and I go look at the table, so if I go look at tables and I look at site services again, I'll have an image but not a web path yet because it hasn't processed this, looked at that record and said, oh yeah, we haven't saved this image to disk. It's saved in the database. So then when we open up the site again, it'll actually go save that image to the database real quick, and then it'll load the card for it. And it looks different when your screen's kind of compressed versus when it's on full screen, but this is what this should look like. If you have a new item, it goes and saves it from the database to the disk. And now if I go refresh this, ta-da, it has a web path. So it has saved that from the database to the disk, and magically I have an easy way remotely to go and upload images and data for that website using a handy dandy form inside LibreOffice Base, which is really cool.